Okay, we're live, and the only one on camera at the moment is Trustee Magliano.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to just be a voice tonight. I don't think I'm going to be a face, but I'm here, and welcome to the March 2nd, 2026 Policy Committee. At 5 here, we're starting a couple minutes late. I apologize. 5:33-ish, and we are in the Administrative Office Executive Conference Room. We have public comments, but Nick, there's nobody from the public, correct?
Not as of right now.
Okay, so we'll hold that if that's okay with you, Nick. We can hold that and we can move that if we need to.
And just FYI, Trustee Grasso just joined us as well.
Oh, wonderful. So we have Melissa Orther is here, Frank Grasso is here, and Nick.
I wouldn't miss it. I wouldn't miss it, Melissa.
Hi, Frank.
Hello.
Okay, so I'm moving right on to field trips and excursions. Establish a rubric for using coach buses.
All right.
4531. Does everybody have copies of that?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'm just opening mine up and you can.
You let me know if you want me to share the screen, Melissa.
Unfortunately, our superintendent had to take care of something, so this was something we discussed a couple of months ago. I think it's back at us. I do think there's been some changes, so if everybody's just kind of go over quickly, is that okay?
Yeah, do you want me to share the screen so you can see it on the screen?
I can see it, I have it on,
All
I
right.
have the device.
Okay.
So I can see it.
All right, and you guys all have it, so just, if you want me to make changes, I'll just, make notice of them.
I mean, you can share the screen if you want to, that way people at home would see it, right?
No, they won't, because I'm not
Oh.
doing, no, but then I'll have it at least up.
Oh,
So,
okay, so
and I
share
can
the
make
screen,
changes
that's
as you speak.
Yeah. Okay.
What just happened?
Is that okay?
Yeah, I just moved the computer and everything stopped. Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, we're good, we're back.
Nick and Frank, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we're back.
Okay, so we're gonna you all have the document open?
Yes.
Okay, so one-way distance, condition under 75 miles, regular school bus. I wouldn't be in agreement with that. How about you guys?
Sure. You know, we talked about this before. I kind of wanted to have a justification for the numbers, but this number makes sense. You know, it seems
Okay,
reasonable.
so I don't know if they came back with justifications or they just revised it. That part I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know if anything's different. Joanne, is this an update or is this the same?
You know, I gotta be honest with you, Michael gave this to me today, and I don't know. Because I never had the first one, because I think that was a meeting I wasn't at or something. But,
Okay.
Michael sent this to me today, so this is what we're working with, so if we wanna change it, we can. But I don't have any other one, to be honest with you.
So let's just take a minute and see if anything jumps out. Anything one way over 75 miles, they would recommend a coach bus. Okay?
Yep.
Total ride time, under 120 minutes. So under 2 hours, they would suggest a regular bus. And I think anything over 2 hours, they would recommend a coach bus. Trip length, same day within school hours, regular bus. Anything early morning or late night or overnight. Frank, I'd be with you. I don't know what that means, like early morning, like if it's at 6 a.m., I don't see why we would need a coach bus. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
Overnight might make sense to me, but
Absolutely. Overnight makes sense. Yep.
early morning, I mean, if we have a sporting event, my kids, when they had sports, they would leave sometimes at 5:30 in the morning. They didn't have coach buses.
Yep.
So that would be one, maybe you could highlight that, Joanne?
Yep,
And we could just get some more clarification. Does that sound okay with you guys?
Yes, ma'am.
yep, I'll ask for it. What about the late night one? Do you want clarification on that too?
Yeah.
Like what is considered late night? Again, we have kids in the sports programs that are coming home from sporting events at 11 o'clock at night. They are not on coach buses.
Okay.
So I don't really know what, the overnight, I can totally understand. If our kids are being driven overnight somewhere, that makes sense. But, you know, they have a busing company, but
Yeah.
I mean, we have kids early morning and late night all the time in our sports programs, and they're not coach buses, so.
Yeah, it makes sense to me, Melissa, that this would be for athletics in general. And maybe what's going on here is that the trip is taking a lot of time. Like if you leave early morning because you're going to a meet that's going to be, 4 hours away, and then you got to get 4 hours to get back.
But then wouldn't that go under if it's over 120 minutes?
100 miles.
Yeah, it would, but I think these all overlap.
Okay.
I think they all overlap.
Student ages, so they've got short local trips, regular buses for K through 8, 9 through 12, significant sensory or medical needs or long trips. I mean, again, like that makes no sense to me, like that would be like IEP driven. If they need special transportation, that's in their IEP. That has nothing to do with the district making a determination for an entire field trip.
Yep.
So I think we need more clarification there too.
Wait, I'm sorry, which one? Student needs?
Student needs,
Student needs?
yes, so it says significant sensory medical need on long trips. I mean, an IEP trip is the IEP, the transportation is also driven on an IEP. If there's special transportation needed, it's gonna state that.
Yeah, I think one thing that came up recently was whether or not students needed a bathroom on their bus.
But that would be usually driven by an IEP, so. And an IEP is not gonna drive an entire, field trip.
So
Just maybe a little bit more clarification there.
on what they mean by significant sensory medical needs on a long trip, that's what you want clarification on?
What do you guys think?
Well, I wonder if it's more than IEPs. The way that because the IEP isn't in there, it might be something more like somebody's making a judgment call about somebody who's visually impaired or has a temporary injury or something like that.
And I mean, it might not be an IEP, but then it would be in a 504 accommodation. The district is required to provide an accommodation due to a medical necessity.
Yeah.
There's a 504 accommodation. So
Yep.
there'd be some type of, what's the word?
Yeah, justification.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want that to be the trigger of a coach bus, that a child has an accommodation. So, I guess how I'm envisioning it, let's say a trip to something I know they do, they go to Great Adventure, right? I think that's under 120, maybe it's over 75 miles. I'm trying to think of something else. All right, let's say something in New York City.
Yep.
And a child in the group that's going has a accommodation or has a broken leg or has something that they need special. It cost prohibitive. It may, be if every kid has to go on the coach bus. It might just be that the kids go on the regular bus and that child is transported in, say, a Suburban or in another form of transportation.
Yep.
Do
Yes.
you guys following me on?
Yep.
Yes, that makes sense.
I noticed that on every one of these, the guidance says recommended, except on this one where it says considered. And I think that might be suggesting more flexibility. Recommended rather than if you think it's considered sounds like if you think it's a good idea, you should do it.
Okay. All right, I mean, maybe, I'll wait. To be considered, convert the guidance column into a point system. For example,
Yeah.
0 equals school bus, 1 equals either 2. Somebody read that and tell me if they understand what this means.
Where is that?
As far as making a score, to convert the guidance column into a point system, if you could only go in if a school bus is the proper one, 0. If you could make the trip in either school bus or coach bus, it would be a 2 or a 1.
You don't have that because I didn't know it was 2 pages. I'm
And the
sorry.
2 is a coach recommended. So you would have either a score of a 1 or a 3, you know what I mean, or a 0, and that would kind of determine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, no problem.
Where'd you get that? You have
It's
that, or
printed
did I
on the
give it to
same
you?
page that he's got there. It looks like, it just doesn't, it doesn't
know
have, it doesn't have the number
No,
there.
That's my master, that's why. I'm gonna go make
So
a copy of this.
probably-
I'm gonna make a copy.
I'm sorry, I marked up your master.
No, I gave it to you. I'm sorry. I didn't realize this was 2 pages. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I
guess they would use this to have a point system?
we had a conversation with the superintendent about the idea of a point system and this way as well. So, I think that would probably be a mess. Because a point system might be combining all the factors that are identified here, and you could get some kind of a weird combination of things that would move you towards a coach when it was grossly inappropriate, just based on the points. But, we can wait to hear about it,
Can we agree that the rubric is basically kind of common sense in the sense of
Yeah.
how we operate, you know what I mean?
Okay, thank you, Joanne.
I do believe what he's looking for though is like some real, what's the word?
Oh, see,
Like, I don't know if there's like a make or break threshold, but there needs to be for field trips, like I think the 75 miles it should be like a make or break, right? Like if it's under 75 miles, there's no reason that we would be paying huge money for coach buses.
Can I ask a question? What about in the situation like where they were talking about for band and stuff like that? If there is a lot of equipment necessary, would that still fall into the same category by mileage?
That's interesting because I don't see anything in here.
Well, under equipment luggage, they have large instruments, sports gear, or overnight bags. Coach bus recommended, because there are certain stuff that might not
Yeah,
jive on a school bus.
but I don't know how that works. Like maybe you just send, if it's like to a neighboring school, do you just send 2 buses? Like, I don't know.
No, that's why I was just curious, because that's where mileage versus certain things and where some of these overlap, it can get a little
I guess.
redundant and confusing.
Confused by factor, and then, is this supposed to be one long thing, or is it 2 pages?
It's 2 pages, I guess.
So like, we have factor and condition, and then we have factor, like, there's so many factors. I think that's the problem, there's way too many factors.
word factor here.
I'm not seeing the second page.
So we don't have the second page.
But I just gave you the second page.
No, I don't see the word factor anywhere on here.
On the top,
Factor.
at the top of the column, it
This,
says
factor.
factor.
Great,
There's factor.
thank you, sorry.
So like, to me, the fact, if you go all the way down on the second page, accessibility medical, isn't that very similar to student needs? Like above it? Am I wrong? Like, I don't know.
Scram in front of.
Yeah, I think I understand. He's saying that any one of these things in combination could come together in a combination. So we could have somebody who has accessibility and medical, who also has equipment and luggage.
Oh, sure.
And so what he was trying to do was probably to get something that would work for any combination of these things. And probably he wanted to come up with a score that would take all of the factors and make a master sort of estimation, so that if it's over 6, he says here, it would work. And I would like to hear it, I think, because I think it really could be, like I said, some of these factors, it's hard to weight them appropriately in advance, and it might lead us to some real crazy situations.
Yeah, I guess maybe what we could ask for the next time is like him to take us through a scenario and show us how the point system works.
Yes, we definitely would need to see the point system to approve it.
Because I don't really understand. I understand that the 0 and the 1, but all the other ones, like what do those get? Like what points do those get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you want clarification on the point system as well as the things we already talked
Yeah,
about?
like maybe you could take us through like a mock scenario,
Yeah.
okay?
Yep.
So we'll move on, we'll get those questions answered at the next meeting.
So just make sure, because I was running around making copies, I wanna make sure I've got it all. The trip length in terms of early morning and late night, the student needs in terms of significant sensory medical needs on a long trip, that you all want clarification on. And then you were okay with everything else until you have a question of the point system. Is that right?
Yeah, the point system isn't really specified, it just kind of,
Okay,
so.
all right, I just wanna make sure I had everything, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, hold on, I gotta go back to the agenda. All right, moving on to social media, 9.267, social media or digital citizenship. So we obviously discussed that at our last, work session. I know it's been, updated with some
Oh, good.
edits, so does everybody have the, oh, Pam, you're here.
I am. Hello.
Pam, do you wanna walk us through the edits?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
On the social.
All right. So, you will see on here that there are yellow highlights, which were from your work session of areas you still wanted to review and talk about. You also will see that there are some where I felt comfortable making some suggested edits for you. There's a couple others where Michael and I had a meeting this past week, and I know we're not an executive, so I'll just say generally, but we had a meeting with the CTA regarding this as well. So if you see some edits on here, they may be reflective of that conversation as well. So let me just walk through it with you. The scope of
Can I just ask a quick question? The copy I'm looking at in this email, I don't see any highlights. The only thing I see is something in red, one thing.
You don't see all district employees, contractors, and volunteers when applicable? You don't see that?
What you just sent me, I don't see anything yellow.
Okay, I will forward you Pam's email directly. Forward.
Thank you.
No problem, I'm sorry, I downloaded it, so I don't know why. But there, I just sent you Pam's email directly.
Sorry, I'm gonna open that. Go ahead, sorry. Go ahead.
No problem. So with this, we talked about, the first one you'll see is scope. This policy applies to, first bullet is all students enrolled in the Carmel Central School District schools, all district employees, contractors, and volunteers when applicable, and elected board members. I don't believe you had any further concern on that. Did you?
No, that was, and it was basically to keep the language universal for the same with the fraternization policy and all that. And I think that was a good add, just to keep it.
Okay, so we should be set on that one. Then I'm gonna jump down to the fourth one. I bolded district sanctioned communications because I think it's important that there is a distinction of what is an official district account and what is a district sanctioned communication, because we do reference it. And then personal devices utilizing official district social media or software for school or professional purposes. So we wanted to be closer to what is this really about, right? And we wanted to get away from the word nexus, if I recall it.
Yes.
Got rid of Nexus.
So-
Yes.
Does that do that for you? Are you okay with that language change?
This policy applies to personal devices utilizing official district social media or software for school or professional purposes. Yep, okay.
Then you will see, I did some bold to make it clear that these were definitions and what the terms were we were defining. Then if you go to page 2, I added what district sanctioned communications were, because we wanted to make sure that it was clear that that's a flyer or communication approved by the central administration, communications professional, or a building principal. Personal accounts, we included elected board members. I know that was something, but I thought we cleared it off, just like you had mentioned, Nick. So education 2D is an interesting one because the question becomes, does social media have to follow education law 2D because it has a wraparound contract to it? So it only does if we have what's called, if there's any PII that's being shared, and you ask, well, what's PII, right? So it's the definition under FERPA, and it also includes teacher and principal APPR. So then you have, well, what if somebody put something up there they shouldn't? So we want to make it clear that we're following Education Law 2D and Commissioner's Regulations Part 121. So that's why I expanded that in there. The next part is the general principle. So I don't want to have any question on what is responsible, respectful, and lawful. So we use what a reasonable person in education would consider reasonable, respectful, and lawful. That kind of gives it a legal terminology there. Then if you jump over to Section 4, this was highlighted because there was a concern on representation and accuracy. And it's so important that what is shared is vetted when it can be vetted, that it is confirmed, that it's not hearsay, that it's not someone just taking what a second grader's interpretation of something to be, right? When it's shared, we want to make sure we're actually sharing accurate information. So for representation and accuracy, evaluating the truthfulness of facts and information is a critical skill. Part of being a good digital citizen is vetting information for accuracy and avoiding misrepresentation. This eliminates the spreading of rumors and potentially damaging material that could be unlawful as defamation or harassment. Accordingly, the district, through its students, staff, contractors, volunteers, and elected board members, expects each user to strive for accuracy and avoid misrepresentation. Online behavior shall be consistent with the district's code of conduct. So I wanted to frame it a little bit more based upon your conversation. So hopefully that does that for you there. Any questions on that?
Yeah, I just would comment that it seems like this is something that might require training for people to have. So I don't know, I mean, this is in the right direction, but I don't know that expectation of training in media communication.
That's something that can be covered in that training, though.
Yeah. I just don't know the extent of the training we offer de facto.
It will have to include that, 'cause it has to include everything in the policy.
Okay.
Right, so for the ones that are vetted as official things.
Yep. Okay.
Then personal social media use by district employees, contractors, volunteers, and elected board members. I wanted to give some clarity to this. So communications with students, we did have with students is prohibited. I think we should just clarify what the communications with students looks like instead. I think that'll be accepted more positively by people. So in order to maintain a professional and appropriate relationship with students, district employees, contractors, volunteers, and elected board members should limit communications regarding district matters to the use of district-provided methods of communication, e.g. district email and applications. I apologize, we're missing the closed paren there, and you're missing a period between E and G. Thank you. Students should be encouraged to make contact with district employees, contractors, volunteers, and elected board members via school-provided email and district applications. They should not be following or asking to join their social media accounts unless there is a familial or non-district related relationship. We wanted to make sure that you don't want to put a teacher in a position where they get in trouble. At the same time, you want them to have if it's an aunt, uncle, whatever it is, with the niece or nephew, you want to be able to let them still be able to exist.
I think we might need a pronoun in there. They should not be following or asking to join. I think like something like asking the student to join.
This would be professionals to join faculty.
So the red sentence in the middle paragraph on A, I was just thinking that asking to join, I just thought we,
It should be employees,
okay, so,
contractors,
oh, I see. Mhm.
vendors, or elected board members.
So you
Social
want me to put
media
that in there
accounts.
after join?
Yeah, so instead of using the pronoun there, it should be the employees, contractors, vendors, or elected board members, social media accounts, unless there is a familiar or non-district related relationship. Does that help?
Yep.
Clarify?
Although, hold on a second, I'm still having a little problem.
Sure.
So it says students should be encouraged to make contact with district employees via the school provided email district applications. They, to me, that sounds like it's referring to the students, which is what.
Which
got me
is correct.
confused.
Students should not be following or asking to join employee,
Great, okay.
contractor.
I'm happy.
To
Yep.
students.
Yeah, change the they to students.
So students should not be following or asking to join employees, contractors, volunteers, and elected board members' social media accounts.
Yes. Does that make sense?
Then I think it should be asked, not asking. Should not be asked to join.
Well, so if I'm a student, I would be asking someone else to join.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be the
You're right.
employee, would be the one who asks.
You're right, you're right. I was really having trouble jumping around with the
That's
sentence.
okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
No, and once again, I like that the line is in there, both lines, because this policy isn't to
Discourage.
discourage healthy relationships, just to
Yeah.
keep them professional.
Exactly. And then the next one, district personnel who have a legitimate business purpose that is part of their assigned job. Duties may communicate appropriately with persons in parental relation to the child, if necessary, via non-district provided media, social media. And that is really, if I can't get a hold of somebody and I need to, and it's for the sake of a child's wellness, right, or education, that they can do that.
Want me to make that non-district provided social media?
Yes, thank you. Limitations. There was just a cleanup there. We run to page 4 now. So these are the limitations. And these are must nots. Use personal social media for their official duties and responsibilities or for any matter on behalf of the district. Sorry, get my spacing there. Number 2, use personal social media to purport to speak for the district or the Board of Education. 3, employees, contractors, volunteers, and elected board members should be aware that there may be consequences if they post, share, or tag personally identifiable information, pictures, or confidential proprietary to the district information regarding its students, employees, contractors, and volunteers that is protected by data privacy laws. 4, use or post the district logo on any social media network without permission from the superintendent or designee, where there could be confusion in the marketplace. There should be a period at the end of that
You want that to be would be confusion or could be confusion?
where there could. Thank you. 5, post information that compromises or could potentially endanger the physical security of school premises, including but not limited to detailed maps of a school interior grounds, or any confidential school safety plans. Then the next 2, the district had from your conversation, I want to make sure we hit. Personal use of social media during work hours or on district-owned devices is prohibited with the exception of a contractual lunch or break. Everybody okay with that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Was everybody else okay with that?
I don't know if everybody is or not, but I think it's appropriate.
Okay.
District email address should only be used for district business and should never be used to register for or maintain personal social media accounts. This is applicable for students attending the district or in a district placement. Any questions on that? I think those two, unless someone feels strongly on those, I think those two kind of capture what you need to capture at this point. Melissa, any thoughts on that?
I think they're good. I like it.
Just,
Okay.
just a couple of things.
Sure.
So that last one right there, a bit about applicable for students attending the district or district placement. The beginning of this section is only about employees and contractors. So it's saying that they must not. Oh, hold on, maybe we're in a new section, social media? No, it's
the same one.
it's the same one.
So it should say this is also applicable for students.
Yeah, but I
Where
also,
are you?
yeah,
They were in that,
Up here?
nope, go down to the next page. That's next one.
This one?
Yeah. So the key is you don't want to have, for example, hey, I'm going to get this app and I'm going to use my district email on it. I mean, my district email for a personal app. So we want that for students as well, but we could eliminate that.
and make sure we put it in
And
with the students. Yeah.
It's probably in your acceptable use agreement when they get issued email. So I'm fine with
Yep.
eliminating that,
That's good.
if you guys
So
are
which
okay
one
with
am
that.
I eliminating? The whole thing?
Nope, just the
Just the-
parenthetical.
Just what's in parentheses here?
Yep.
Okay.
And since, we good?
Yeah.
And since we started this out with not, I think maybe we should change the shall to may.
Where are you?
So, so on item 7
Yeah,
on that list, we started out, it says that they must not.
are only to be used.
Yeah, and so I would maybe change I don't know,
What, so district email,
addresses may, yeah.
are only to be used?
Yeah, I'm having just a problem with the must
Yeah,
that
no,
came
no, you're
before.
right. You're right. District employees, volunteers, and volunteers must not,
Maybe just like an except at the beginning, except that district email addresses,
no, that won't
no, it
work.
won't work either.
So why not say must not use district email addresses for non-district business?
Mhm.
Wait. District email addresses for non-district business, you said.
Yeah,
And then and should never
And-
be used.
nope, and to register
Or
for or maintain.
or to register instead of and. Sorry, I'll let you get your train of thought.
And or.
Yeah.
And or to register for or maintain personal social media accounts.
Sounds good.
Is that better?
Yeah, no, it's good.
Do you have all that, Joanne?
I think so, give me 1 second.
Yep. No,
Some of
we'll
this
wait.
was already here. Register, non-district, okay. Use district email addresses for non-district business and or to register for, where are we?
Register,
For maintain.
register
Register for
for
there.
or
Or
maintain.
maintain personal social media accounts.
Exactly.
And, okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Okay,
And the same thing with item 3 on page 3. Under
Sure.
this category B, it's a must not, and then it says employees, contractors, volunteers, and elected should be aware. And I think that it's a must not should be aware doesn't quite.
so
track.
number 3, go back to number 3, get rid of employee, contract, volunteers, and elected board members should be aware there may be consequences. So let's change it to, so delete all the way up to they before post. Yep.
Alright.
So it would be must not post, share, or tag personally identifiable information, pictures, or confidential proprietary to the district information regarding its students, employees, contractors, and volunteers that is protected by data privacy laws.
Yep, that's great. That works.
And then that will,
Isn't that are protected by data privacy laws?
We're deep in the grammar tonight.
That are protected by,
sure, why not?
I don't know, you tell me.
Yeah, ours fine. I shouldn't say fine, but ours correct. Okay, so I think we're now on guidelines, which would be CD. So district employees, contractors, volunteers, and elected board members should, we say, recognize that personal social media use, including off-hours use, has the potential to result in foreseeable substantial disruption at school and/or in the workplace and can be in violation of district policy and law. Understand that even clearly identified personal statements or opinions could lead to the commencement of legal action against the district if they violate law or district policy. Understand that inappropriate or illegal personal use of social media by a district employee, contractor, volunteer, or elected board member could result in disciplinary or legal action against the district employee, contractor, volunteer, or elected member. Again, we're going off of should. Obtain written approval in advance from the building principal in the case of instructional staff, or the superintendent or their designee in the case of other district officials or district employees, before promoting any specific district program, activity, or event on personal social media. This would not apply to any district sanctioned communication or post to official district social media accounts. So I think it says posted there, it should be
I got that.
post. Is everybody okay with the clarity that was added there?
I'm just parsing the,
Don't say participles.
This would not apply to any district sanction. Yes, okay, fine.
Okay, Melissa, you're good so far?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like what that means exactly. So what I think that means is if it's a flyer that the district put out, they can post it to their personal account. But if it's something they wanna say like, oh, I wanna promote the whatever, they really should get permission first if they're doing it on their private page.
Correct. Because they don't know if that's been approved by the board yet. They don't know the status of it.
Gotcha.
Recognize online conduct should reflect the same professionalism, respect, and ethical behavior expected in person, consistent with the district code of conduct. Understand the employee, contractor, volunteer, or elected board member is responsible and accountable for reposting of any materials. And I know there was a question on this. Post on personal social media sites the following disclaimer. The content on this page is solely that of the individual owner and does not reflect the views, representation, or opinions of, and you could choose my employer, the Board of Education, or the Carmel Central School District. I think it's important they have a choice. Some people don't want to bring attention to the district, so they can just use their employer. And that way, it's a way to show that, hey, these are my personal things and I'm not invoking the district into it. Some people may want to use their role, right, Board of Education, or some may want to state the district. It's up to them. This is a guideline. So if somebody doesn't have it, that's okay. That's just the risk that they're taking because there's not clarity out there. Everybody good with that? Because it's not a must. It's just a should. Okay. Official Carmel Central School District social media sites. The district will have approved official sites. To be a district approved site, the following criteria must be met. The approved Managers of the site must participate in a training session with the district's communications officer and/or school attorney regarding pertinent laws and best practices adopted by the district. The approved manager shall be the sole individuals posting on the site. The communications officer shall be responsible for the site, including serving as the administrator. Accordingly, upon approval from the board, the communications officer shall provide the approved managers with the account password and login information. So why this was here is there was a question of, is this really going to be approved by the board, or is the board going to approve what the media is? So is it Instagram, TikTok, whatever, or is the board going to approve the sites themselves? And otherwise it would go to the superintendent approving it or his designee approving it. So I think that was the issue here. That's a board decision, so I didn't want to even suggest information until I knew the wishes of the committee.
So the approval we're talking about here is approval to be a media manager?
Yeah, so if we're approving a site and then to be a manager, so this is the approval of the site. The manager will come with, yes, to manage that site. There'll be no posting unless I get trained, right?
Mhm.
So then the question is, who's responsible for the site? And that's the communications officer, right? But is it going to be upon approval from the board
Mhm.
that the communications officer provides the approved manager with the account password and login? Or is it going to be upon the approval from the superintendent of schools?
I think I would like to have what's being approved in that sentence, like approval of, to be very specific.
So,
And then we can come back to the question of whether it's the board or the superintendent. And you said the site. And
Right.
That would be fine with me.
so accordingly, approval of the site
There may be better language than that, but that's the concept.
Here, accordingly approval of the site.
I think it would be a site. The approval of the site as an official.
So I think that once the board approves a site, that site could be in existence for a year, 10 years, 30 years, and then the superintendent is responsible for who's responsible for that site. But I do think that the board in the initial piece, we would approve the site. But like anything else, then it becomes administrative, and whoever is the person in charge, that would go through the superintendent and communications officer. Is that correct?
Well, that's the question here. Is that how you would like it? Because you could have a site. So let's say, I don't know, let's just call me I want to have an official site be the athletics department, right? So the music department. I want an official site to be the music department. So do I come to you and you approve the site and then the superintendent approves the manager? Or that I think that's.
If I'm not mistaken, that's kind of where we left off in our last discussion as well. And I believe that we kind of agreed that once we approved the site, the managerial approval and all that would go on the superintendent, so it didn't border on micromanagement and getting
Okay.
too involved.
Well, I'm sort of on the fence here because I see both sides, and I was just thinking that maybe the superintendent is in a better position to understand what the music department is doing if they're asking for a site. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like the people there who like, we might be making a decision about, well, we like Facebook just fine, right? That's like approving the site, that kind of thing, as opposed to knowing the details of how the site may be used and so forth. That might be a better call from the superintendent. And I said I'm on the fence. I don't know. I'm thinking it through.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can see it going either way. I do have a concern of overloading your communications person because they're not a district employee, that you use them, I believe, through BOCES. And then I also have the concern in terms of the micromanagement. So that it really does become, what is it that the board wants? And then, or do you want to say, hey, this is what we have, follow this, and superintendent, you're in charge of making sure this works. And that's kind of what the real role is, but what does the board want?
Yeah, I
And
was,
that's really a board decision.
and I was thinking micromanagement, but I didn't say it,
Okay. I telepathically, I knew
That's right,
that.
it's great, it's great. We've been working together long enough that telepathy is starting to work. So yeah, I'm really on the fence and wanting to think it through. What do you think, Melissa?
I think that as long as we are telling them what platforms to use, and once the site is approved by the superintendent, it goes on the list so the board is aware of it. I have no issue with the superintendent being the person who approves them.
Yeah, we could always revoke it if something happens that we don't like, but we could trust.
Right, but I do
yeah.
think that the board needs to be made aware when there's a new
Yeah.
site.
I think that that's gonna happen on a quarterly basis
Yeah.
later on having here. And I think
Yeah.
that when that happens, that's something that the clerk or the superintendent needs to throw into a Friday note, throw into something to.
Yeah, there just has to be some accountability that the board is informed.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was also brought up, this is gonna be something in the very beginning, we're gonna have a lot of requests to everybody. But once these sites are established, it isn't like sites are springing up left and right for the most part.
Correct. Well, it's interesting. The question, I don't know if you're gonna have a lot or not, right? And hear me out on this, because you're putting regulations on this to become an official site. If someone doesn't want to follow these regulations, they don't have to. It's just not an official site. It's not something that speaks officially on the district. Right? So you could have employees still having other sites, but they're not official sites. So that
Kim,
is
I think that that's the question, and that's why we did this. I don't want there to be I'm gonna say a music, like let's say an 8th grade music site that is putting out district information that isn't an official site. I think if they work for us and it is about district stuff, it has to be official.
But there's a part of that that's a kind of a little of a catch, because there's plenty of unofficial sites that aren't school employees, whether it's athletics or this and that. And that's- No. But that's where we're kind of doing everything we can as far as the logo and stuff like that, and making it, as long as we're clear what's official and what's unofficial, there is going to be a certain group that no matter what is going to be able to.
Oh, I agree with you there, but if they work for us, if they are a district employee,
I agree.
I think it has to be an official site.
So if it's part of my job,
Right,
then it's an official site.
correct. I can't see how an employee would have a non-official site that if they're doing district business.
So say I'm the math department
Mm-hmm.
at the high school. And I'm not so sure, just so you know, what would go on to an official math site. But I'm the math department, and I want to put on the site that one, we have extra help hours going on from this time to this time every day in the location. That there is a math team. The math team meets, organizational meeting is here, and then we go from there and go to various contests over the course of the year. That the math department has done some very cool things in terms of math with numbers, and some other things. One of our teachers just presented at a conference, like those types of things. You're saying all of that needs to be district because it's pertaining directly to the job of a math teacher? I just want to make sure I'm understanding this.
Yes. So if that same math teacher has a tutoring company outside of school, then they can do whatever they want on their tutoring company thing. I mean, I would discourage them from using our logo and saying that they're a math teacher in Carmel, because I think that that's not great and they shouldn't be doing that.
This would prevent that.
But that's the distinction, right? If they're giving information about the math program and the math opportunities within our district, it should be an official site.
So we somehow have to get that in here.
I mean, to me, that was the entire purpose of this policy.
So is there? So I want to do a policy that I do think the more restrictions you put on, the less energy there's going to be to have a district site. So I'm trying to get that balance in there. And so
I think there's an implication that anything that's posted on behalf of the site is representative of the district. So if we're talking about the math example, then clearly the official office hours sort of thing, that's something that really should be endorsed by the institution, right? By the school. Math folks going off to a conference or something like that would be part of their job, but I don't know that the public needs to know about that as part of their jobs. So I see distinction in some of the categories you mentioned, and I'm don't have a definitive decision. I just was sort of thinking it through. So I think I agree with the principle, absolutely, Melissa. I agree with the principle, absolutely, and I don't even know if I have an objection. I'm just throwing the idea out there to think about.
Well, that's where we gotta hope that in that initial training, whoever is the manager of that site is fully comprehending what belongs on there and and I know it's a lot of faith, but I'm assuming that.
Well, we can take the password away if they break the faith.
No, but it's like I said, it really isn't. And I trust that it's not gonna be a huge issue. If someone's going through as far to make it legit, like I said, we're gonna be very limited to say, if it's school business, it's school business, whether it's a conference or this and that, but I feel safe, at least we know it's gonna be in the right ballpark.
I guess the other side of this is that generating public interest in activities that are happening at the school, like a math decathlon or something like that. That might not be literally the teacher's job description in detail, but it's definitely the kind of thing we want to have happen.
but that
But
could be
then,
on.
Frank, that putting the system in should actually help with that, because if our communications person is now got our list of our website or whatever, our social media accounts that are district accounts. If a math department says, hey, this weekend is a decathlon and it's approved site, then that our person can then take that and put that on the district social media, so it's not just the math one, it would go out to everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory,
Yep.
this should streamline the way the district represents itself.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah, what are you struggling with? I mean, I don't want there to be, I'm gonna take away from the math for a minute. Let's take it like foreign language, right? I don't think there should be a Spanish teacher out there that has a Twitter account that's providing social media to their students and families that isn't under the auspices of the district if they're working in the capacity as the teacher.
Well, that would all be done that should all be done under some district provided mechanism, right? That's
Correct.
parent
I think
university, that's,
all these people that are operating in their own, with their own criteria right now are gonna have to rethink how they're doing it, and I mean, I don't think we're doing anything that's gonna make it difficult for them, they're just going to have to use the platforms we choose, and they're gonna have to let somebody else know the passwords.
So. Can we go into exec?
Of course, can I make a motion to go into exec?
So moved. Where's Nick?
Can I have a second?
He just stepped out of the room.
Oh, okay, I'll
Well,
second.
you can make the motion and he can
I'll
second.
make the motion, can I have a second, please?
Sure, I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Joanne, why don't you stop this? Pam, do you wanna just stop Zoom completely and call me on the phone? So
Yeah,
it's
we're
not-
gonna go
Yeah,
into
you
it.
guys just leave the
We're gonna
room
leave and
let's
I'll
leave
call you.
everything, because,
I'll
if we
call you.
stop the recording, we can't restart it.
Yeah, so we're gonna
So
step
I'm
into,
mute
Yes.
my Zoom and someone call me on the phone.
yes, I will call you. Joanne, make sure you can't hear her.
I just muted her audio too on my end.
Joanne, we're coming back in.
Okay,
Joanne?
yep, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. I muted it in here too.
I got here so much quicker than that.
No.
Hello,
Hello.
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 Did you make a motion to end?
Yes,
Did,
Who was it? It was,
Frank?
I think Frank
I second.
and then a minute ago, so 6:33.
Thank you.
So, so we're on D1C still. And we have the communications officer shall be responsible for the site, including serving as the administrator. Accordingly, upon approval from, we're changing that to the superintendent of schools.
Approval from the superintendent of schools.
The communications officer shall provide the approved manager with the account, password, and login information.
Right.
Is that, do you need more detail there? Do you want to know more about the
I think that's
approval?
perfect.
I think that's good, because
Okay. Everybody's good?
yes.
Okay.
Oh, and I did want to go back to one thing, not to change, but just to say. So I like this division, Melissa, of we approve the platforms, but we leave it in the hands of the
Yeah.
superintendent.
think
I like
that's
that
perfect.
division.
No micromanaging.
I agree too.
Yeah.
And it keeps a clear cut line without us having to step in every.
That's right, and no more than we do.
Mhm.
And then, and it gives us, then if you go jump down, the superintendent will be creating an administrative regulation and having a list. So we'll have access to what these sites are. We'll know what they are.
That's right.
Okay. So then we have, I added in there that the communications officer or their designee shall reset the password on a regular basis, not shorter than the approved term of the manager.
Great.
Okay. The superintendent of schools is designated to create an administrative regulation, as you just said, for creation, maintenance, and administration of an approved site. In addition, the superintendent of schools shall provide a FAQ resource for district employees, students, volunteers, contractors, and elected board members. Note number 3, no district employee, student, or community member shall create a site that gives the impression of being an official site without following the administrative regulations. So what that would mean with that is that if I have a site and I decide I don't want to go through these rules and I don't want to give up my password for it, that I can't be sharing district information, right? Okay. Do you want that stated in here, or do you think that's clear enough?
I think it's nicely general enough.
Nicely general enough, perfect. Okay. The official district website remains the primary and authoritative source of all information. All approved official sites will be listed on the district website. Persons in parental relations have the right to opt out of their child's inclusion in social media or digital publication pursuant to the Family and Educational Rights and Privacy Act.
Okay, I just have a clerical question about that. So, a parent could opt their child out because they object to a particular type of content? Is that what this is saying?
Yeah, so let's say, I don't want my child to appear in any social media,
Photos
any
online,
pictures,
the district
anything.
website.
That would fall under directory information under FERPA, and accordingly, if I
Yep, okay.
opt out, then my student can't appear. And your communications officer has the list of who has opted out so that no problems exist.
Okay.
So the only thing that we haven't covered yet, so I'm not going to say that yet. Applicability of the district policies and laws. This policy supplements, does not supersede any other district policy or obligations established by law, including but not limited to the Children's Online Privacy Act, COPA, Education Law 2D, and the Family Educational Rights Privacy Act. Applicable district policies, regulations, and laws that govern employee and student conduct will also apply in the social media environment. Nothing in this policy replaces or removes any obligations under other district policies or procedures, including but not limited to the district internet, acceptable use, code of conduct, or code of ethics. The district shall review this policy on an annual basis. In addition, the district shall update the exhibit on a quarterly basis if additional sites are approved by, and that should be changed to the superintendent of schools.
Here.
Yep. Where would you like to add that the board will approve the platforms? Because we don't have that in here. So we could add a number 6 under D. So I don't know why that's
Yeah,
facing
That's
down.
fine.
So number 6, that says the Board of Education.
I think it should also say that, we also, the board should look at that on a yearly basis because platforms change.
Okay, so the Board of let's start with the platforms first and then we'll get the review. The Board of Education shall designate to the superintendent of schools the platforms that
Are acceptable for social media?
are acceptable to host official district social media sites.
Perfect.
Okay, then we'll go to the applicability of the process here. Annual review. I'm sorry, annual review. The district shall review this policy on an annual basis and then go the Board of Education shall review the platforms on an annual basis. In addition, the district shall. Yep. Does that make sense to everybody?
I think it's good.
And reviewing the platforms implies getting rid of them or adding new ones, right?
Correct. So we might,
Language does say that, right?
so I think that says that. So that we might say, hey, the district is shifting this year. We're not using X, we're using Y. We're not using this, we're using that.
Right.
That is your social media policy.
Awesome. So we will bring that back for a second read.
Congratulations.
All right.
Good job, you guys.
Alright, so
Thank you.
Second, we are moving on, thank you, to 968, prohibition of fraternization between school employees and students. I know this was discussed at the last board meeting, I did listen to that section, so I'm up to date. Trustee Douglas, I think did send his concerns, I did send them to Pam yesterday or this morning, I can't even remember when I did it. But Pam at like 6:30 this morning, reviewed everything and this is up to date, this
This is
draft?
up to date. This includes the one you sent me. Yep. So
Okay,
I'm just noticing, and I apologize, you guys, the one that was printed out does not have the edits and red lines
This
that
is
are
just the final?
on there. So those edits didn't show up on the printout, but they are on the screen. So we're in the same, we're
Okay.
doing fine.
Okay, but this is the final that we have.
This is the
Yes.
thing we are
After the
discussing
month.
tonight. Yep.
Yes, yes. So we're gonna go right off of the top here. So, the relationship between school employees, contractors, volunteers, elected board members, and students should be one of professional cooperation and respect. All employees, contractors, volunteers, and elected school board members have a responsibility to always conduct themselves in a professional manner when dealing with students. They are to maintain an atmosphere that is ethical, free of bias, and conducive to learning. Staff, contractors, volunteers, and elected board members must establish appropriate personal boundaries with students and not engage in any behavior that is unprofessional or that could reasonably lead to the appearance of impropriety. There is a clear difference between serving as a mentor coach and inappropriate behavior. Each professional in the district is responsible for knowing that line. Everybody's in agreement with that. I think that's really important. So prohibited behavior. It is the policy of the Board of Education to prohibit any type of personal relationship between a school employee, contractor, volunteer, elected board member, and a student that may reasonably be perceived as unprofessional, including but not limited to the perception of an inappropriate grooming or dating relationship. Employees are required to understand and maintain personal boundaries. Now, you'll notice I eliminated favoritism and isolation because there wasn't enough room to clearly define them in there, and I didn't want us to be vague based upon feedback I received. And school employees, contractors, volunteers, and elected board members shall not. We had the word entertain, but I think it was being interpreted as having someone for a party. So I think it's really more that you're going to treat students in an unprofessional manner. So I made that modification so we don't get sidetracked. Then I made a second one for engage in flirting behavior with students regardless of who initiated the behavior. Make suggestive comments, make requests for sexual activity, participate in physical displays of affection, give inappropriate gifts, conduct frequent personal communication with students, emails, phone, letters, cards, notes, texts, etc., unrelated to coursework or official school matters, even when under the guise, thank you, of such, I think we're on the next page, matters. Note, this is not intended to prohibit the sending of appropriate communications that are the practice towards all students. So, for example, if I'm going to give a condolence card, I do that to all my students when I know somebody dies. I just don't do it to Nick, right? That's why we included all students in there. If I'm sending a birthday card, I do it to everybody. I don't just do it to one student. Isolate students for inappropriate or unprofessional purposes. And that's important because I think you could have a student sometime who has to take a makeup exam or gets extra help, and we don't want to prohibit those things. Provide or partake in alcohol or tobacco, something with students. Vaping products with students, socialize with students, or spend an excessive amount of time with students, either in person or via technological means, when such conduct is reasonably believed to create the impression to district staff, the student, or other students, their parents, or the public that an unprofessional relationship or inappropriate favoritism exists, and/or
Sorry, Pam, are you reading from them?
yeah, that's okay. Behaving in a pattern of behavior with one or a small number of students that reasonably could be seen as a pattern of concern regarding the adult-student relationship. So that was all to add some clarity to this about, hey, this is what we're meaning, this is what's incorrect. Everybody good with the edits so far?
Yes.
Well, actually, could we go up? I'm looking at where you knocked out a little even higher, where you knocked out, keep going up there,
Mhm.
favoritism and isolation. So I see what you did was you moved the isolation down into one of the explicit bullets
And favoritism.
and favoritism. And the thing that I'm not feeling here that I think I would like to see is if it's taking place in the classroom, the favoritism takes place in the classroom. If isolation takes place in the classroom in front of the other students, I'm not getting the feeling of that from this. I'm getting this feeling of it being more outside of the school because of that. So favoritism and so forth. And I don't want to put it back in. I just have this sense about that. So I just wanted to mention that.
The perception of an inappropriate grooming or dating relationship. Do you want me to add in or out of the school?
Ooh, That
Right
does
there?
it.
Does that do it?
I think, yeah.
In or out of school, I think we can get rid of the, sorry, that was me speaking differently than I write. Okay,
Or maybe district property. School is good because it brings the schoolroom back in.
correct,
Okay,
right?
good.
And it could happen at school, but be on a weekend.
Yeah.
As well. So that
No,
that
in or out of school covers.
covers that, right?
Yep.
Okay. I think we're down one more, maybe not that much. The Board of Education takes the position that these inappropriate, I think these forms of inappropriate behavior exploit the unequal power relationship between professionals and students. It is also the policy of the Board of Education to prohibit any type of sexual relationship, sexual contact, or sexually nuanced behavior between school employees, contractors, volunteers, elected board members, and an enrolled student without regard to the student's age. Okay, it applies regardless of whether the student or the school employee or volunteer or elected board member initiated the sexual behavior and whether or not the student welcomes the sexual behavior and or reciprocates the attention. Any school employee, contractor, volunteer, or elected official who is contacted by a student for an inappropriate purpose should contact either their immediate supervisor or the building principal immediately. All right, so that should be their, should contact, get rid of either and get rid of the word either.
There.
Yep. Their immediate supervisor, and then get rid of the or, should be a comma. The building principal, or should go after principal. The superintendent of schools.
And can we change should to shall or must? Should contact?
Yeah, it can be,
Being a tough guy, I want to make sure that.
No questioning.
yes, we're
It's
going
clear.
must for the tough guy, yes. All right, so now we have communications with students. We got rid of electronic because some things happen outside of electronics. Whenever possible, communication with students should take place through district administered and approved communication systems such as the district email system or district approved communication system. No staff members should contact the student for district purposes by any means other than district administrative systems. Communicate individual students between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. is prohibited unless in response to an emergency. If there is a concern, they are to bring it to the attention of the building principal or central administration. So we could clarify that even more to say if there is such an emergency. The employee
Must.
must.
I don't know if we need the must. I just.
That's right,
I
we're
go-
gonna
I
put
go
it in
for a
there.
little humor,
We're
you know?
going for must bring it to the attention of the building principal or central administration. So I put in the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. And this is why I did that, because there really shouldn't be any communication happening during those hours. And during those hours is usually when a student is going to be on their own in their bedrooms and having electronics with them that a parent's not going to be aware of. So that's why I did that. You guys can change the times, but that's why I made that suggestion. Just kind of to hit what you guys are looking at. But that was a suggestion. You can change the times. Melissa, are you okay with that suggestion?
Yeah, the only thing I would put as a caveat, maybe, unless
Sporting events or
there is a
something like.
district event taking place.
That's
Because
a-
we do have times that there's something that goes later than 10 p.m.
Do you want to just change it to 11? Would you have something later than 11 p.m.?
On a school night.
I don't know.
Okay.
Like like, I don't know, like, if it's a sporting event, right, I don't know what the latest we come home at, but I don't want, as coach to be like, I couldn't text a kid because I'd be in trouble.
So after,
Emergency.
emergency, put a parenthetical that says, in response to an emergency, or a district-sponsored event. Does that cover it?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too with sports, with the late time and this and that. That's the only kind of.
Well, and I would be concerned, it's a great point,
Can we,
because
can
you'd
we
have
add,
sports, you'd have, what if you're on the DC trip, right? Like, there could be places you could be where those timeframes aren't gonna really matter.
can we add during a district-sponsored event? Because we've got response. So response to an emergency or a district-sponsored event. So if we
You
put
wanna say
in
during?
during, we'll
Yeah,
make it distinct from
Yeah.
response. Good.
the
The team is working.
Then we have reporting and investigations. I just don't remember. I don't think we actually did anything here. I think we were good with everything here.
Down here, there's a Title IX.
So this was just, I think Michael made the point at the meeting the other day, that, there are things that can happen. There are also child abuse in the educational setting or Title IX, right? So they could be under a number of things. It's not just this policy that's in place. Okay? Then let's keep going. Exceptions. It is not the intent of this policy to limit reasonable and appropriate relationships. Appropriate relationships are central to educational growth and experience for our students. Examples include, but are limited to, a parent-child relationship, and then we also have the other relationships there of aunt, nephew, niece, nephew, or grandparent, grandchild. Relationship where the parent is an employee, contractor, volunteer, elected board member of the district, and the student is enrolled in the district, or where a student and employee, contractor, volunteer, or elected board member are part of a non-district organization or previous appropriate relationship. So that's where you would get, that was my Little League coach. That was my whatever. Violations of policy. We really didn't have any edits there. Retaliation is prohibited. Review and dissemination. I don't think we had anything there either. I'm sorry. So this policy shall become part of the district's onboarding procedures. So I think one of the things that was brought up is it's great that this is there and it's in our policy manual, but it needs to be also shared with people as they are onboarded into the district. And that's where we included it at that point. Those are all the edits on this one.
Thank you, Pam. I
Yep.
think it's really good. I think it answers and clarifies the questions of any of the board members that they have. The one piece that a board member brought to me and some members of the community, and I don't think we need to add it, I just wish if you could speak to the point of parental consent just for 1 minute, that this isn't really something that parents need to consent to, because this is something that the district is, it's employees, contractors, volunteers, and board members. It's not.
So, correct. So the district, a teacher is always able to communicate with the student by using the school operated management curriculum system. And there's not a consent per se on that. When I sign the code of conduct and I do other things, I'm saying, yes, school, we're on board. This is how things operate, right? So I'm consenting to it there. For this policy, there really is no consent because we're not supposed to be using anything other than those systems. And we're not supposed to be using any personal devices to contact them. And we do put in an hours restriction. So there really isn't consent. I mean, if a parent comes to you and say, I'm okay with the teacher texting my child at 12 o'clock, well, that's great at midnight. Like, a parent may choose to do that. Is that the best educational philosophy of the district? Actually, no, because the student should be resting at that hour and should be doing some other things. So just because a parent consents doesn't mean the district has to allow it. So I don't actually think that a parental consent would be one appropriate or to even have a role in this.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that we address that because we did have some people ask about it. All
Sure.
right, perfect. Frank
Thank you.
and Nick,
No
I'm
problem.
gonna ask that we move this out of committee for a second read for the next board meeting, if you guys are okay with that.
Agreed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, well.
I think that covers most of the concerns that were brought to us from other trustees, and this should be.
Okay, great. Great.
All right, so, our next meeting looks like it's April April 6th,
Yeah.
is that our next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, and, Pam and Michael will let us know, probably, in advance what policies we're gonna be discussing,
Sounds good.
okay?
And just to confirm, the one thing I'm putting on the agenda for sure is the return of the rubric. Because you're gonna get some clarification and Michael will either be here or he'll give it to you ahead.
Yep,
Right?
and then both, the social media and the accreditation, if we could move for second reading.
Well, they'll vote on March
Yep.
10th, right? Yeah.
Perfect. All right,
Real quick, under future policies, I know I said this one other time, but I'd like to say it one more time, just so it doesn't get lost. But I was asked from Vice President Curzio for us to review the policy on making policies. I know it sounds a little redundant, but just to keep it, I would like to look into that for him when we do get a
can you
chance.
put that on the agenda, please?
Yeah.
For next meeting?
Yep.
Thank you.
And
Thank
it's
you.
very common. It's actually referred to as the policy on policies. So, yep.
Excellent. All right, then, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Bye, Melissa.
Bye-bye, Melissa. Take care.
Bye, Melissa.
Bye.
So you be aware of
Can we
this.
turn this off?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
give me 1 second, okay?
Yes, because then I'm gonna call Melissa, but go ahead.
Yeah, hold on.
And I want you guys to.
And stream.
Were you gonna say something?
Just something humorous that you probably have